how many hours in a week a person should or can work has been the subject of much outrage lately. The choice of outrage over debate on my part is very deliberate. So overwhelming has been the anger over the call for action given out first by Infosys founder N.R. Narayan Murthy, who said work 70 hours a week, followed by Larsen and Toubro, L&T chairman and managing director S.N. Subrahmanyan, 90 hours a week, that a debate has been impossible because how can you have another view? Trust therefore the reckless me to join the argument now, of course on the wrong side. A truly brave man like Infosys veteran Mohandas Pai did come out to fight on behalf of this microscopic, intrepid minority. Serial entrepreneur and new age investor Sanjeev Bikhchandani also wrote a long post on X admiringly on Subrahmanyan, but also gently argued that a 90-hour work week wasn't sustainable through an entire career. Mostly, however, the response was like Greta Thunberg on 4 double espressos. How dare you? So overwhelming was this anger, the avalanche of social media, memes, and so triggered, especially the new gen opinion, that even one as thick-skinned as me was scared into choosing discretion over valor. On much rethinking now, I would dump intellectual cowardice and speak what I see as the truth. Both Murthy and Subrahmanyan are entitled to exhort people to work longer hours to earn more for themselves, their companies, and the country. Of course, they can't force anybody. If you work in their companies and do not like what they are saying, you can explore LinkedIn. LinkedIn would love it to get more prospects and more transactions there. Of course, not all employees are equally brilliant or productive. Ability, brilliance, productivity will all show in your annual appraisals, bonuses, and allocations of employee stock options. I understand that competition in a workplace isn't sometimes seen as politically correct, but mercifully, this is how it works in real life. It's called merit. And it will be easier if your mom and dad or maybe grandparents have built and set aside enough for you already. Just remember that the assets they built for you in any generation did not come by shooting the breeze at their workplaces. They worked long hours to give you the privilege of this cool outrage. Infosys and L&T are true Indian behemoths. Both are engineering businesses, one built on software and the other on hard physical engineering. They are worth rupees 8 and 5 trillion, directly employing 3.17 lakh and 4.07 lakh people respectively. In fact, in case of L&T's 4.07 lakhs, almost 3.8 lakhs are workers, are blue-collar employees. Both companies are competing with the best in the world. Infosys is central to India's digitization. L&T is an old-school, male-driven, heavy engineering company. It has also built your Navy 4 nuclear-armed submarines, SSBNs, heavy artillery, a tank, is digging a bunch of strategic tunnels across the country, particularly along your borders, and a lot of the physical infrastructure dotting your skylines. Leaders who built and manage these incredible global leaders cannot be tyrants, slave drivers, or idiots, or nobody would work for them. Essentially, what they are saying falls under the definition of rallying the troops, inspirational talk, like what the usual coach speak with the team before a match. Zor laga do, apni jaan laga do bachcho, aaj ya aar ya paar. This isn't a call for kamikaze to put your life on the line to win a game. This is just an exhortative call. There is a popular Punjabi word for this, halla sheri. Halla sheri, loosely translated, means rouse your tigers, chad jao shero, like that. Nobody can be forced to work long hours. It's your choice. Nobody can be forced to work long hours, at least not in the long run. Yet, if you take a close look around, you would find a lot of people doing it. You will also find a lot of very successful people, more successful than you and I, doing it. Many happily so. In the private sector, they will be rewarded better, and those they leave behind in competition can ridicule them as workaholics or disrespectful of work-life balance. But like you, they made their choices. And work-life balance doesn't have any constitutionally mandated definition. Each individual can define it in their own way. In the government, you might get an even ruder shock to see the hours so many, especially at officer level work. Most IAS, IPS, IRS, or other national all India service officers would definitely work 70 plus hours in a week. At more junior levels, your police SHO will be at work all 7 days of the week. In earlier stages of their careers, district magistrates, SPs, trial court judges, tax assessment officers, and government hospital doctors will actually average around the dreaded 90 hours a week. You can find them at work on the weekends, and they will be roused often enough at night as well if something awful happens, which can range from a murder, or a riot, or to just an unexpected VVIP visit. Even in New Delhi and in the state capital, senior civil servants and police officers work longer days and weeks than most of us. The most expensive doctor in your 7-star hospitals will keep Subrahmanyan like timings. In the public hospital emergency wards, in government hospitals, public hospitals, things are even tougher. In the emergency wards there, you find young doctors working consecutive shifts, often stealing just a couple of hours of sleep in a room on the side. Another group of people that work really hard and we never think about is our politicians. They have the hardest profession. They are at work 24 by 7 by 365 by 5. That is 5 is for 5 years because they face elections every 5 years. Then lots and lots of people do work frightfully hard, and the reason I bring this example last is because I was worried some of you might hit me with that taunt, oh, so you also throw in, but there are troops on the borderline, right? The fact, however, is that there are troops and officers on the border and in operational areas who see no leisure, just constant duty and risk, waiting for just that 2-month annual leave. That is, unless one of our nasty neighbors decides to have it cancelled. Tens of millions of Indians work really long and in most cases, deeply fulfilling hours. In any case, this Murthy Subrahmanyan kind of talk is not meant for their blue-collar workers. They have their shifts and fixed hours, the blue-collar workers. It's for the manager, engineers, the well-rewarded white-collar elite. But even the poor blue-collar Indians by and large are hardworking, love their families, and will sacrifice much for them, like working an extra shift if they had a choice. Check out the security guards in your workplaces and gated colonies or buildings. All work at least 1.5 shift, if not 2. Invariably 6 days a week, that makes it 78 hours. And often they work all of the 7 days in the week, which makes it 91. Is it a good thing? Who are you and I to decide? Out of misplaced goodness, if you ask one to work only 1 shift and 5 days a week for work-life balance, they will tell you to go to hell, maybe politely by saying, then sir or madam, what will I save and send home? Talk to your Uber driver or Zomato delivery person next how many hours they work. But it is easy to beat up on the corporates. But a society that does not give its entrepreneurs, wealth and jobs creators love and respect is doomed to be frozen in a low middle income hole. That's where India is now located, with a $2,800 per capita. If it has to reach 10,000 and therefore the middle income status in the next 15 to 20 years, it will still be, by the way, 2/3 of where China is today. A lot of Indians will need to work very long and productive hours. Like the Japanese and the Germans did post-World War II, the Koreans have done all along, the Chinese and the Vietnamese are doing now. Of course, in the process, they will build wealth and a better life for themselves and their families. For every individual angered by the call to these long hours, you will find millions desperate for jobs, especially jobs of this quality. And finally, once mass anger, in this case mass elite anger, takes over an argument, facts are forgotten, twisted, half deleted. This particular one is a case of all three happening at the same time. Much of all anger, ridicule and memes are triggered by what's attributed to Subrahmanyan, which is, for how long can you stare at your wife? It does sound so awfully misogynist. Then check out what he said in full. For how long can you stare at your wife? Or if wives stare at her husband. I'm sharing the video link with you with the description. You can watch it. Inappropriate still, maybe. especially because no Donald Trump has yet banished political correctness in India. But misogynist, no. However, this is in the folklore now. And folklore is the history in the post-truth world.